Hi Devmalya, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also fine. So can you give brief introduction about yourself?
So, first of all, hello to all the viewers. I'm Devmalya Nag. I am currently working as a software intern at Cerner Corporation, and I'm also pursuing my BTech in Information Technology from Meghnashah Institute of Technology. I'm in my final year right now, and I completed my schooling from South Point High School.
Oh, so that's nice intro. So now, second question, is it on campus or off campus?
So I got placed in two companies. One is Cerner Corporation, and the other one is Persistent Systems. Both were on campus.
Okay. So now, how many rounds were there? We were talking about Cerner, okay? So how many rounds were there and give details of all the round, how you approach all the rounds.
So in Cerner, I had four rounds. First was a online round where I had to give my. They tested your aptitude. So it was in most probably in a higher view assessment. So first round it was a higher view assessment where it was divided into two sections. First section was the aptitude round where you had 30 questions which you had to answer in 35 minutes, and second section was the English round where you had 20 questions that you had to answer in 15 minutes. So in the first section, that is the aptitude section, it consisted of like the normal things like quantitative analysis, uh, logical reasoning, mathematics, and all those. Um, and in the English, it consisted of normal things like synonyms, antonyms, best fit for a sentence, and there were also passages. And based on that passage, there were five questions that you had to answer. So my approach to this round was I did not look to complete all the questions. I did not look to answer all those questions. I answered only those that I was confident in because there was a time shortage. So I made sure that the ones that I was able to do, I spend maximum amount of time in that so that those questions that I do, I make sure I those are correct. So this is the approach that I followed for both the sections, for aptitude as well as for uh, English one. So I cleared the first round. So after clearing the first round, I got called up for the second round, which was a code view assessment. So it was actually a coding round, what one says, but it was undoubtedly one of the most innovative coding round that I've ever come across. Like in other companies where you are just given a question and you sort of give the code, and if it runs the test cases, you're through to the next round. But here it is not like that. Here they will give you a question. You have to first read the question in front of the camera, and then you have to tell the approach that you're going to follow to solve the question in front of the camera, and then you have to code.
Mm.
And the best thing that you can do is while coding you should write uh, comments after every line, because here the codes are not checked by a computer, these are checked by uh, people. They will see the approach that you have told, and the approach that, and they will cross check if you have followed the approach or not. And if you are able to do the code, next in the next thing that you have to say is, if you are able to do the code, that's wonderful, and you have to say that if you followed the approach that you said that previously. And but if you were not able to do the code, you have to say that you weren't able to do the code and why you weren't able to do the code. So it is mostly about your understanding of the code and not only your implementation of the code. They look at how much you understand the code. So this was the so two questions were sort of this. and fortunately I was able to do both the questions. And and after this I was called for the third round, which was the yeah, personal interview round. It had a mix of both technical and HR questions, and it was nothing extraordinary. It was an absolutely simple round where they asked me questions on object oriented programming, data structures. They gave me a problem and asked me for approach to the solution. And they also asked me about project, and they told me to explain about my project, and then if I faced any form of problems while doing the project and how did I overcome it. So it was a very basic interview, like nothing extraordinary about it. So this was the third round, and I cleared first, second, and third round, and the last round was the Versen round. Versen round is based on English, is based on English, and more importantly, spoken English. Like in Versen round, they had six sections. The first section was they where the computer told me something and I had to repeat that. The second section was where they gave me three or four jumbled words and I had to arrange it in a proper sentence. Third section was they would I would listen a conversation between two people, and based on that conversation I would be asked a question and I had to answer that question. Fourth section was a normal fill in the blanks. Fifth section was a dictation where they would tell me something and I have to write it as fast as I can. And the sixth and the last section was a summary. They would give me a small summary. Sorry, they would give me a small passage, and I had to read that passage, and then I had to write a small summary of that passage. So this was a very interesting round, and I also cleared this round. And after that, I got selected for Cerner Corporation as a software intern.
Okay, so that's nice. So if I categorize all these round, so which round seems to be very hard and which round seems to be very easy for you?
Actually, that depends from person to person.
Yeah, that's why
For
I asked
me,
for you.
the that for me it uh, definitely the third round or the personal interview round was the most difficult because maybe that was the first personal interview round, personal interview that I had. So I was a bit nervous, but the interviewer was very nice, and she made me at ease. And after that, I was able to answer all the things that uh, she asked. So maybe third round, the interview round was the toughest, and easiest maybe the last round or the Versen round, because I did not really face any troubles in that round.
Okay. So now coming to our next question, what are the resources you used for placement? Is it free or paid?
All the resources that I used are free. Like I used GFG, that is Geeks for Geeks, for all the learning the subjects. For coding, I used Geek for Geeks, and also the Code Chef long challenges that happen on the CodeShare platform. And also, I used Java T Point for learning the subjects, maybe. Then, if I ever faced any difficulty in understanding the concepts or anything like that, I always had YouTube. So it wasn't really difficult for while preparing. All it required was some time to prepare and dedication. That's all.
Basically, if I tell about, like I ask you how to prepare for aptitude, like from what are the resources you used to prepare for aptitude?
Um, like Aptitude, there's a site, India Bix. I did some aptitude from there. Like Aptitude is not something really that you can
Yeah.
be perfect at. You can be strong or maybe weak about in it, but it's not really something that you can be perfect at. So for aptitude, it is like if you daily solve 10 to 20 questions on a particular topic, maybe that will make it stronger. Like, and also like shuffle, like aptitude does not only mean mathematics. It
Yes.
also means like something like logical reasoning, puzzles, and everything that comes. So like, don't focus on only a particular topic in aptitude. Like, shuffle between the topics, do maths, logical reasoning, puzzles, and sometimes even go to English as well. And even if you do 10 to 20 questions per day, it will be easier for you, and it will you will gradually become stronger in that.
Basically, it enhances your ability to think about the different approaches of the solution. You can think in
Yes,
different
yes,
manner.
yes,
So now,
yes.
is resume CGPA 10th and 12th grade matter or not for on-campus placement?
uh, yes, for on-campus placement, all the three matters. First of all, coming to resume is a huge factor when you go for an interview. Like, whatever you write in your resume, just make sure you know that thoroughly. Like, what people should write in their resume is what they are strong at, like what they know. And when you give your resume to the interviewer, interviewer also thinks that if he or she has written something in their resume, maybe he or she knows about it. It is their strong point. Now he or she may just cross examine you on that. And if you are not able to say that, puts a very bad impression on your bad impression, as you are not able to answer from your strong point. So resume is a huge factor, and it is really advisable that whatever you write in your resume or CV, please know it thoroughly, and don't write things that you don't know or you are not very sure about it. Say 10th and 12th, these marks matter to get shortlisted for the companies. Like, some companies have a very like some companies have cutoffs like 60%, 70%, 10, 12, and a 8 CGPA or like that. So these matters for getting shortlisted for the companies. Once you get shortlisted, you can just throw these out of the window, because they don't matter after that. The only thing that matters once you get shortlisted is your skills and the knowledge that you possess for that subject or the interview.
Okay. So lots of people aren't aware about, like, they basically don't study, and like they face rejection, lots of rejection. Like, if you give company wise exam, so you also face lots of rejection. So how to handle that rejection and how to overcome that rejection?
Yeah, I faced maybe a few rejections. Like, some companies that I really wanted to, maybe I got rejection on those, and it really felt bad. But you've got to sit down and you've got to understand. Like, you've got to ask yourself, if I just you've got to ask yourself, if I know everything, if I've given my everything to get into that company. If the answer is no, then you already know why you got rejected. But if your answer is yes, then maybe just you should believe that, like, it is the company's loss and not yours. They lost a prodigy. So this is what helped me in overcoming these rejections. And so maybe there will be further rejection for those, to all the viewers are seeing. There will be for rejections in maybe your life as well. But you've got to make sure that the interview or the exam that you are giving should be better than the previous one. You cannot become like best in one night. It's a process, and you've got to trust the process, and you've got to be dedicated and work for it, and after that you will be able to get it.
So are you mentally prepared for this? Like if I face rejection, then I have to manage this and this.
Actually, no one is mentally prepared for this, because you all expect, all of us, when we give an exam or interview, all of us expect to uh, get the job. But yeah, rejections are a part of it, and you have to accept it. What I used to do, I just, if I faced any rejection, I just sat down. I asked myself, have I given my everything for that company? If the answer is no, then I already know why I got rejected. But if the answer is yes, then maybe I just feel that it is not my loss, and it is the company's loss that I got rejected, that they rejected me. So, and maybe better things are in store for me, and so I keep working like that.
So basically in this process we have to very honest. Like we have to very honest for ourselves. Like don't lie anything. If the answer
Yes, you
is
have to be
no,
very
then we
honest
have
with
to work
yourself.
for it.
Yes, you have to be very, very honest with yourself throughout this
Yeah.
process.
So now, as you have given so many tests and interviews, so what are the most important data structure and algorithms according to you?
Um, Data structure, if you see it overall, data structure is the most important subject that you will be asked for a role of a software developer in any interview. So the interviewers treated as a prerequisite, and what people usually make mistake is they think that if they go very advanced into that subject, maybe they will be able to crack companies, but that is not really the case. Like, I've seen people thinking that if they study trees, graphs very hard and know about it, then it will be easier for them. But what usually do is they usually miss out on learning the basics.
Yes.
Not many companies ask you about trees and graphs. They maximum ask you about arrays, stacks, queues, and linked list. Linked list is undoubtedly the interviewer's favorite. Like, whenever you go for a interview for software developer, you should always expect questions on linked list and be prepared for it, because yeah, and how you answer the linked list questions, and how you give the approach to solving those questions, definitely tells you a lot about definitely tells a lot about how you actually do solve the problems. So it is advised that do not go much into the advanced, just stick to the basics. uh, just do those arrays, stacks, queues, linked list, and that will be enough to get you a good company.
So basically, first clear your fundamentals. If you clear your fundamentals, then go for advanced. But before clearing the fundamentals, you can't go for advanced topic.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So many students take HR rounds very easily. Like suppose if you get call from HR that you have to give HR round, then many students know that yes, this is my last round. I got selected for this company. So what are your views? How to take HR round lightly or not?
uh, HR round isn't easy. Like, HR, what actually people believe that if they survive a technical round, then they are guaranteed a place in the company after, an HR round is just a formality. It is not like that. Like, HR round is held because it tells a lot about a candidate. Like, interviewers ask you a lot of questions just to know your family background, your mentality, your approach about a problem, and based on your answers, they figure out if you will be a really good fit for the company, and they also have to see how you'll really fit into a company's environment. So HR round isn't easy, but you have got to be really, really honest about whatever you answer in the HR interview. Because if you say something that you don't believe just to make an impression, maybe that may just backfire completely. and that will be not that won't really be good for you. And and there is no proper way to prepare for an HR round. You have just got to be yourself and answer the way you believe, and answer the things you believe. So there are a lot of questions that you get on the internet to prepare for the HR rounds. Maximum maybe comes for there. Just you can't really prepare for it, but it's always better to have a glance at those questions before going for an interview.
So now a small outro for the people who faced multiple rejection throughout, like in seventh semester, and also some small tips for the juniors.
Um, so maybe there are also viewers who haven't yet started their preparation for placement, and there are some who are in midway. So some of the tips that I would like to give them is, first of all, create a goal. You can't do something without creating a goal. You have to be focused about it, and for that goal, you have to create small steps to accomplish that goal. Like you can't just take a leap and accomplish that goal. You have to do small steps. You have to create small steps. You have to better yourself through those steps, and then after that, you can actually reach your goal. So throughout this process, you have to be dedicated. You have to trust the process, and you there will be failures. There will be failures. You have got to learn from the failures, and be the best version of you every day. Like be better from last day, and you should also know what you're doing, and you should also know about your limits. Like it may sound very harsh, but you can't uh, think of cracking a 10 LPA job or a higher one if you are not really ready for a 5 LPA job. You have to know what are your skill sets, and at the current moment where your skill sets can take you far. So you have got to be very critical of where you stand at the position, and know that yes, right now this is my I this is what I should aim for. It's good to be ambitious, but it's also most important to be realistic and be practical about your situation right now. So these are the things that I just want to tell to all the viewers, and all the people that who are going to be appearing for your placement exams, and also who haven't yet started their preparation for the placements. You have just to be calm, you have just to be confident about yourself, and trust the process, and be dedicated, of course.
Thank you very much, Devmalya, for sharing your experience with us. Hope it helped our viewers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and also congratulations to you for getting a job in EY.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to also you for your journey, for your future journey. Thank you very much.
Thank, thank you so much.